Hello, James King here, ForexGridMaster.com. Let's do a strategy test. Let's test the new ForexGridMaster version 5 and the onboard default Aussie New Zealand strategy. Now there's a test that's already been done, so let's clean up that first. First we zoom in, so F9, where are we here? There we are. And we'll go into Journal, right click on the entries, clear all journals. Okay, back to the settings tab. We go into the expert things, and there's an Aussie New Zealand strategy, but it's not the default, so let's load the default, which I saved previously. There it is there. So the default is loaded. So we'll say OK to that. And then we'll go down and we'll check. We have the Aussie New Zealand symbol. We have the model, open prices. We start off with open prices because it's far faster than every tick, and even far faster than testing tick data. Alright, so we want to use a date. We don't want a long test because we're on a video, so let's start, that's fine, January 1st, 2013. And we'll go through to October 12th, which is a Saturday. That will be good. We're in visual mode, and we have the slider, not the full way, just part way. We're all set to go. Over here we're choosing the 1 minute time frame. That's very important for ForexGridMaster. You should not use any other time frame. With the Aussie New Zealand strategy, we're going to set the spread to 25 points, which is the same as 2.5 pips. The reason why I'm doing that is because my real money account is at IC Markets. I've been monitoring IC Markets spread since January 3rd, 2013, and it's averaged 2.2 pips. So the commission at IC Markets is $3.50. So I'm testing at a spread of 2.5 pips, so that works out well. Actually, it's still a little high because most of the action is actually at less than 2.2 pips. Alright, so we're ready to go. Just look around here a little bit, just to show you. Here we have the comments. The set file is the Aussie New Zealand. BSCT5 means buy, sell, counter trend, 5 pip spread. As we go out from grid center, each of the grid gaps are going to increase by 0.1 of a pip. That's what that means, step 0.1. In order to use the step, you have to use the fixed center equals true when you activate the main grid. Here, total open trades, TOT 69. That means both buys and both buy and sell trades. So it's a buy-sell counter trend strategy. Here we have lot size percent 0.0001 and lot size increase percent of 12. So each trade going out, its lot size will be increased by 12%. What's happening here is we're doing a counter trend grid, and it makes money from retracements. So basically the grid itself is like an elastic. As price stretches out in one direction or the other, that elastic is getting tighter, and at a certain point it's going to retrace. And to match the tightness of the elastic as the grid goes out, that's what the increased percent of 12 is actually doing. All right. Set file info is take profit pips. This is just an extension of the file name and description of the strategy. Take profit pips is 12, and the take profit pips step is 0.2 of a pip. And we're looking for a close run profit percent of 0.3, and we have a close run loss percent set at 70, which is what I do for all my testing, not necessarily when I run it on a real account. Although when I design strategies, I design them so that they won't reach the close run profit loss percent. So yes, we want them to reach the close run profit percent. All right, we have a $10,000 start. You can see this here, account balance. It's up a little. It opened a buy trade immediately when the grid opened. So we have the equity, we have max equity drawdown, which we'll be able to monitor as we go. We started, here it is, 2013, January the 2nd. January the 1st was a holiday. We're on current run 1, and again the start equity was 10,000. Start time at 1 in the morning, January the 2nd. Okay, so there's our loss limit. If we lose $10,000, we've lost 70%, and trading will stop. Profit target, $30, which is 0.3%. So, okay, we can track main grid buys and also main grid sells, and the total volume of the main grid buys and the total volume of the main grid sells. Okay, and it just tells us we are trading a fixed grid, which means a main grid with a fixed center. All right, and it shows you where the fixed center is. There actually is a line that you can enable in the FGM default any file to actually show that line. I actually don't like the line showing. I know where center is, so I'm happy to have it not clutter the scene. All right. Now, just to show you what you can do here, on the right hand side you can grab the price scale and you can pull it down to compact things, because at a certain point your grid range is going to be quite large and you'll need to compact it just to see the outer edges of it. And of course you can drag it back up, or you can just double click it to put it back to normal. Alright, so we did open... Oh, we haven't started. This is the old one. I'm sorry. Okay. Here we go. So we'll start, and it's loaded the data for a new run, and we'll get rid of the grid, which I find kind of cluttering. And let's take a look at what we got here. So we opened here with a buy, immediate market order. We have a buy limit here to catch price when it goes down, and a sell limit above to catch price when it goes up. All right, here we track what's going on with the broker. They have a stop, IC Markets has a stop out level of 100%, and this shows us our margin level. So we have a ton of margin, and the reason for that is the leverage is 1 to 500. High leverage is excellent for grid trading. You must realize that. All right, here we go. All right, so we can actually get rid of the first one. There. Now we only have the one. We got a little more space in there. All right. Okay, so we click the play button by the visual mode slider, and it will start. Now that's going at a reasonable speed on open prices. You can see price moving up, opening sell trades, price moving down. You can watch what's happening here a little closer. Okay, I'm going to zoom out. There we go. Now the range is getting big where you can't see it all. So there's a close run. Let's pause it. Okay, now you can hover over the close run and you'll see CR1, close run 1. And it's a profit percent close run, so it's a positive close run. The profit closed was $30.53, and you can see on the screen there that the profit target, the first profit target was $30, but because we're using lot size percent to create the lot size, we're actually compounding by each close run. So the target on the next close run is based on a higher equity than the first close run. So the target on the next close run is up by 8 cents. All right, but it's still 30% of the equity. Okay, oh, that made sense. All right, so you can hover over the close bar. You see that information. There's also, that's the vertical line object, and the yellow one is actually the rectangle. See, oh, okay, so there it is. I selected it, so you can right click and you can go into the vertical line properties, and you can check the parameters. That's the time of the close. Again, there's the description that you saw when you hovered over the vertical line. And you can yeah, no, you can't change it. Okay, so that's okay. Now I'm gonna go and see if I can get into the rectangle because it shows a little bit more information. I can't quite get to it, so I'm gonna move that out of the way. For some reason that's not selecting. No, it's not selecting. It's strange. So I'll move this too. That out of the way. Okay, so get that out of the way, and then we'll click that. Okay, so now that's selected, so we can get into the rectangle properties. All right, so it shows you the same thing you see when you hover over it, but now in parameters, it actually shows you the value of the range that the first run went through. So the range was between 125.03 and 125.63. So the range there was 60 pips. And also it shows you the time range when it opened and closed. All right. This can become very valuable later on because you can actually right click and look at the objects list, sort by name, and then scroll down and you can look at all the close runs. Now at this point we've only got one close run, right? There's the rectangle, that gives you the most information, so you can go in and check that out. And also you can spread that over. Yay, meta quotes. Let's pull this over a bit further. And when you get the close run, you can actually look at how many trades there were when it closed. So there was, M stands for main grid. So left is buys and right is sells. So there were 9 buys open when it closed. All right, so that's that. And we'll close out there. And there's no need to put this back together, but let's just do it. And unselect it, put that back, and we can put that back. Now if you want, you can take a snapshot of this and send it to somebody. So you would go File, Save as Picture. Now the default always says Post Image Online in MQL5 chart service and get the link. So you can actually post it online, get a link, and send it to someone, but MetaQuotes also gets to see that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to uncheck that. And what we want is the active chart as is, because that's what we're working on. So we'll go OK, and I'll just save the default there. And there it is. It's a little bit too big, so I'll pull it in the screen to show you. There, so we actually got to save the picture. All right, I'll get rid of this now. What am I getting rid of? Okay. Now, before you save the picture, usually what I do, and I didn't do it this time, is I like to shrink it up as much as I can so it's not too big a picture. And sometimes you can move that to get it out of the way, and you can have it full like that. However you need to move it to make it look good. And the other thing you can do is you can add information. So let's put a label in there. Let's say let's show people what it is. ForexGridMaster version 5.00. We have that at size 14, lavender blush. Let's put it in gold and then say OK. So boom, you've got your label. It's selected. Click it to unselect it. And you might want to put some information underneath it So we'll go back to text label, click there, and this time we'll make text a bit smaller, 12. If that's not small enough, you can actually type in 11 and it will hold. I like lavender blush, which is down here. And let's just say this is IC markets, spread 25, leverage 1 to 500. And also we're trading model open prices, so I usually like to add MOP in there just to remind me when I look at the picture and the results that I was using open prices as opposed to every tick. And then just click OK. You've got that. You can drag your label where you want it. Let's put it where it looks nice. I see I spelled that wrong. Let's move it up a bit. And let's move that up a bit. Oop. And then let's choose it, right click, label properties, take out the D which doesn't belong, click OK, and there we have our label. Alright, so that's good. So I'll leave the label there for now. Oop. Let's put it over here. No. Get rid of it. All right. That. All right, so back we go to trading. So we've got it going again. Now it's going slow. You can make it even slower. You can put right down to a crawl. That's a bit too much of a crawl. We'll go along here. And you can also go up, and of course you can increase the size so you can get a better look at exactly what's going on. You can have the price on the left, or you can have it more on the right. Sometimes that's handy to avoid the comments, as an example. You can go into tools or charts. You want to see it in candlesticks. There it is in candlesticks. Let's move it out here. You can pause it. You can select the object, right click, arrow properties, and you can see what that's all about. And it says number 14 sell. The size is 0.01 lots, Aussie New Zealand, and the price at 125.446. And that was closed by tester at 125.32. Now you can also go into results tab and you can look up that order number and see the same thing. So here we have, okay, let's sort by order number. That way we can look at everything that happened on the same order. There we are. So 14 was what we were looking at. Let me zoom in here, make it a little easier. There. Whoop. No, that's not what we want. Okay, we're zoomed in. So we had a buy, and all the information's there, the time, the order number. This is the these numbers are the order of events, so those are event numbers. There's the size of the order, the price of the order, no stop loss, but we do have a take profit in there. And if you look back up here on comments, you'll see the take profit is 12 pips, although each trade out from grid center will increase the lot size by 12%. I'm sorry, the profit target will increase by 0.2 of a pip. All right, I think that's all I can show you there. Of course, you can see the profit of each trade that's closed, and you can look at the balance. We might even be able to get comments. Let's see. No, we can't get comments. You can save as a report. Click there. Let's click save. Already exists, that's fine. There you go. You can get the report. I don't know if I can move it up in there so you can see it. Okay, so let's scroll up. There's your report. This shows you all the settings on the ForexGridMaster. The time period is wrong. You see 1970, January the 1st. Well, that's meta quotes. They have a lot of quirks, and you got to get used to that and learn how to work around it. I don't know how to move that in. Let's just that. Let's make it like that and move it into view here. It's still not quite good. All right, there you can see that. So now there's a graph showing you what's going on. So at one point, the blue line is the cash balance, the green is the equity, as you can see up here in the corner. Here equity dropped down. If you look on the right, you'll see it's close to $10,000, a little bit more, and equity at one point was down to $9,950, so not much at all. We're at the beginning. It actually looks like a big drop, but it's not at all. Okay, we'll get out of there, and we'll shrink the size of the candles back to something normal, and go back to the settings and click play, and we'll speed it up. There. So you can watch the trading, and you learn a lot by watching this. You really learn how the strategy works. Now, if you do it fast, okay, so there you can see the whole grid range by dragging the price scale down on the right. So more and more trades are opening there on the bottom. Let's pause it. And if you look over here, you'll see we have 19 buys open, no sells. All right. We have net profit at minus 0.76%. Now you would think that you would be much more negative than that because there's so many trades open. But the reality of it is each trade order has a take profit. So its price moves up and down. Let's see if we can get price moving up and down. Actually, I need to zoom out. So let me zoom out. Okay, zoomed out. So there, you can see price moving up and down and closing all kinds of trades. In fact, we just got a close run. There's another close run. So it stopped it. Now what you can do here is you can go on your keyboard and hit the left arrow and actually go back and have a look. So there's the close run. Again, you can select the vertical line and go in and check the property. Whoops, something's wrong here. There. And then go into vertical line properties and you can get information. The rectangle gives you a little better information though. But if you hover, you can see that there was 4 buys open when that closed, and we reached the profit of $30.95, which is about dead on what it should be. All right. Okay, let's keep it going. Now we've got this on at full speed with the slider all the way to the right. Now if you click on it, you'll see that's 32. I don't know exactly how that value works, but I do know if you back it off just 31, it goes much slower. Then of course if you back it all the way off, I think it's 1 to 1, meaning it'll actually after 1 minute, these are 1 minute candles, so after 1 minute the next candle will be traded. Okay, let's speed it up again. And let's crunch it up so we can see better what's going on. So this shows you quite well exactly how a counter trend strategy works. All the little dots you see as we go, let's slow it up a bit. We have buys opening on the left here. You see a buy limit. All right, well, we got another close run. Where are we at? Okay, so let me zoom in. This is my first video, by the way. So please bear with me as I figure things out. Now, so far, we know we started with 10,000, and we know we started January the 2nd. Now, if you look at run 1 to run 11, so we've actually completed 11 close runs, and the net profit of those 11 close runs was $360, or 3.6%. So you can figure out how accurate that happened. We have a profit target of 0.3, so if you multiply that by 11, that would mean 3.3%. So already we're seeing some compounding because we've actually got 3.61% profit. Now the max equity drawdown so far was only 3.30%, which is not very much. We actually have more profit than what we risked, which is great. Now it actually tells you exactly when that drawdown happened. So it's January the 9th at 4:51. So you can actually go back and look at that drawdown. And that's not much drawdown, so it's not a major event to be concerned about. But if that was, say, 25%, you might want to go look at it to see what you can learn from that drawdown and what adjustments you can make in the settings to avoid that kind of drawdown in the future. So there's all kinds of investigative work you can do here in this chart and back testing. I'm just covering basics at the moment, but I will get into more detail in other videos. So here we are. We've already got 4 buys open on the current run is run number 12. All right. So we'll push play again, and we're going to speed it way up, and we're going to drag it. So, oh, another close run. Another close run. Now I'm going to slow it up a bit just to show you another thing. Here along the bottom, of course, you can see what time you're in here. We're on February the 1st, so we've actually gone a month. We're up 4.52%. But normally January and even February, sometimes you don't get much profit on the Aussie New Zealand dollar, so don't let it scare you that we don't have much profit yet. All right. What can I show you at this point? We have buys, 32 open, and we have total volume of buys is 4.28. Now, this is important. Here we go. We're now up to a max equity drawdown of 22.85%. Now we have 33 open buys, so price dropped fairly quick to have that much drawdown over 33 open buys. Now, if you look back up here, you see buy sell counter trend 5, which means grid spacing is 5, although it does have a step of 1/10%. Or 1/10 of a pip. So basically we've got 33 trades, which means 155 pips grid range plus 1/10 of that, so 170 pips is what we've got of grid range, which put us at minus 15.23%. Now at this point you can trust the strategy as it is and keep it running, or if that is too much drawdown for you, you can actually intervene manually on a real account. You can't intervene in a strategy test. You can only close it. But if you're on a real account and you looked over the situation with the Aussie New Zealand dollar and you somehow figured out from a fundamental analysis that the Aussie New Zealand price is going to continue down and maybe quickly and get you in trouble, then you might want to add a manual hedge. Now if you're adding a manual hedge, you should go into your expert properties. You can't do it on Strategy Tester, but you can on a real account, and on the fly you can change the close run loss percent and actually set it to 20 if you decide you want out, if you're at minus 20%, or you can just drop it completely and put 0 and then manually intervene by adding manual hedge trades. Now when I add manual hedge trades, I normally put in 3 hedge trades. If price goes down that far, each hedge trade will match a third of the volume. Okay, so right now you see total buy volume of 4.28. So I would divide that by 3. So what are we going to have there? 3 1s, 3 4s, 3 3s. So 1.43. So I might add a manual hedge trade at 1.5 pips there. And one of the things you can do is calculate that, okay, suppose price comes down, hits that hedge. Let's say you put a take profit on the hedge, but it doesn't get to the take profit, and then price retraces and goes back up. You have that hedge open, and it only represents 1/3 of the total equity. If you calculate it properly, you can set it up so that you know if price keeps going up, you're still going to outweigh that one hedge trade enough to get your positive close run. So when you design your hedge trades, that's one method of doing it. There's several other methods. We'll get to that in advanced videos. But that's usually what I do on a counter trend strategy like this. I design the hedge trade so that it only allows the grid to stretch out further at less equity drawdown. And that's a real art and science. And a lot of trial and error. Although at some point I actually hope to be able to extract a formula and be able to apply that to any currency pair, depending on all the settings you have. We're really only at the beginning here with ForexGridMaster of what really can be done. Even though I like to say that my ForexGridMaster is way out ahead of everything else out there that's a grid trader. But really, we're at the beginning. It's not difficult to get 5-7% a month fairly safely, and by fairly safely I mean maybe experience max drawdown upwards of 35%, and that might only be 1 or 2 times over a period of 2 or 3 years. Yeah, and we don't know the future. Now, the reality of the situation is that in the beginning I started testing around 2005, and around that time all the way up to 2010 actually. This strategy, for instance, you could put the lot size up to 3 times what it's set to now, and you could turn $10,000 over a couple of years into $20 million. I wish I knew the Aussie New Zealand and I had this strategy 5 years ago. I would be a very rich man at the moment. On that note, we've recently discovered that the New Zealand Canadian dollar is trading even more tightly than the Aussie New Zealand dollar. Now, I haven't fully explored that yet, but that's just looking at it quickly. That's what I've seen. And you can diversify your strategy by actually trading the Aussie New Zealand and also the New Zealand Canadian on the same account. So it's a way of making things safer and also getting more profit. I hope to get some strategies together at some point to actually show you that. I must let you know I'm basically a one-man show here. I've hired staff before, but I've spent so much time trying to train them, and they couldn't get up to speed, so I didn't keep them, and it's hard. I live in Nova Scotia, Canada. I live out in the woods. We can't even see our nearest neighbor. We're on the Bay of Fundy, which is an absolutely incredible place, one of the most powerful places on the planet. We have good internet here, but the population is sparse. To give you an example, there's less than 1 million people in Nova Scotia. Costa Rica, one of my favorite places, has 3 million people, but it's only 2/3 the size of Nova Scotia. So we're a big place here. And bottom line is the main city, Halifax, has about 100,000 people. We have very few people to draw from to get the kind of staff I need to help me here. So now I have, well, because I have version 5 finished now, which took about 3 years, an incredible amount of testing and work, I am looking for staff, and I do hope to speed things up some and get more strategies out to you folks. Also, I really invite you all to get started in the forum. I was very busy there in the beginning, but we didn't have many FGM owners at the time, and I had other priorities, and I haven't really gotten back to the forum. Now you have to download your files from the forum, so I've got that all set up. But please participate in the forum. We put a lot of minds to this together, and I'm certainly available to train you all about how to approach this. And I think we can actually up the profit from 5-7% a month to as much as 25-30% a month. And with manual intervention and knowing what you're doing with manual intervention, the sky's the limit. And I actually have one trader now who's trading many millions of dollars, and he's looking at doing very high risk strategies on 10% of the main trading capital. But these high-risk strategies, which I played with in the past, and you can see it on the performance page at ForexGridMaster.com, you can see that you can turn $10,000 into $1 million in a few months. And so if you have a reasonable strategy that can do that, and you run it on 1, 2, or 3 sub-accounts, each 10% of the main capital, maybe 2 of them will crash out and you'll lose that 10%, but maybe there will be one left that will actually make millions for you. So that's a whole new avenue that we're going to be getting into soon as well. Another video. It is amazing all these years I never got to making a video. I think the biggest problem was I got so flustered trying to figure out how to make these programs work, and meanwhile I'm behind in my work with catching up with members and all their questions and testing code. All right, I've said a lot, so I had a coffee before I started this. That's what happens to me. All right, let's continue this. I think I'm in Zoom mode. No, I'm not. I'm out. So that's I am in Zoom. So F10. Again, I'm just learning this. Okay, here we go. Speed it up. Let's see what happens. Now, if you actually watch the net, boom, see that small retracement, and we got our close run. So the max X drawdown now is 22.85%. Which in my mind is very, very acceptable. There's a large buffer between that and 70%. All right. Now we've got, getting close runs. Okay, so it went all the way down to the bottom and we lost our compression. So if we recompress, it'll be right in the middle, which is good. Now, if price goes up, okay, there we go. We got to recompress again, see what's going on. We're now at run 26, and we've got 8.2% profit, and we're almost at the 2-month mark. It's running at February 28th, so there we are. We're into March, and 9.44%. Now, let me show you something. Let's pause that. Now, the benchmark that I'm trying to develop is, okay, how much profit are we making per month? And it's always compounding. Let me open Explorer here, go to the website. Go to the website. There we go. Click on compounding. Wow, something's going on here. Let's click on it. There we go. Okay. Scroll up and we'll look at our compounder here on the website. So what we want to do is find out the rate per month. So we click on that. In the input principal, we use $10,000. And the input months, all right, let's move this out of the way and see what we've got. We've gone 2 months. So we're going to put 2 in there, and we've got $10,975. Okay, so we put 2 months, and we have $10,975. And you click calculate, and it gives you the rate per month, which is 4.76%. 4.76% per month, compounded monthly. Now the effective annual rate would be 174 take away 100%. So the effective annual rate would be 74%. That means that if you're averaging 4.76% profit per month, the effective annual rate will be 74% per year. So that would be compounded. All right. Now that's not all that great at the moment. So let's go back here and keep trading. Another close run. That's that flashy orange that's going by. I'll try and stop on the next one. Okay, the reason why I'm stopping is I want to show you something. That's a vertical line. That's a day separator. Now the way you set that up is you go into your options, and on the charts tab you'll see there it says show period separators. So what that means is the day period. So you do that, and it'll be on your chart. And that's useful too, because you can, if you do it a little slower, you can actually see how many close runs can happen within that day. Okay, this has turned out to be a long video, so I'm actually going to speed it up. But if you watch closely, there's one close run. Okay, that was the weekend because there were 2 vertical bars close. One close run in that day. Yep. Another day gone by. Another close run. Another day. Another close run. Another day. This is a very safe strategy, by the way, so you're not seeing a lot of action, but you are seeing one close run a day at least. We're up to 12%. We're near the end of March. No, I'm sorry, we're at March 21. Spread that out a little bit. Another close run. You can, again, you can see the margin level here. We've got all kinds of margin, so we're doing well. Also up here in the left-hand corner, you can double check the spread. You can see it says 25, and it also shows you the run number, but we already have that over here in the FGM comments. Okay, we're getting close to the bottom. Now, if it's close to the bottom and you want it more in the middle, then you just double click and then start again with the compression, and it'll compress it right to the middle. And if you're running a strategy that's making more money, you can just pause it first, and it's much easier to place things exactly where you want them. Go there. Now, here's a neat little trick too. If you're tired of watching and you want the results for the whole year, just click Skip To. Now, I have skipped to 2013. Whoop, let me zoom in here. Whoop, that's not the right one. Okay, F9. Don't know why that comes up, but it does. Okay, I don't think I've got it. F9. Zoom in. All right, we do have the zoom in. All right, so we're going to skip to 2013, October 12th, just to double check that. It ends on a Saturday, which I think is nice at the end of the week. That's one thing about time frames. The one time frame that every trader looks at is the weekly time frame. So if you're actually doing time frame analysis of the market, I suggest you do it on the weekly. You can do it on the 1 minute, you can do it on the 5, the 30, the 15, the 1 hour, but the weekly is the most accurate because that's what every trader is looking at. All right, so I'm going to click the skip to and show you how this works. So here we go, skip to. Now, it's actually processing in the background. You see the green line zooming forward. Now you can actually just double click the screen and you'll get the latest figures. You'll see where now it runs 63 and a profit of 21.78. Double click again. And here now we're at run 71, so you can see things are processing very fast in the background. You can actually use the right thing, and you can the right arrow on your keyboard and move forward. You won't catch up with what's going on in the background, but you might be able to catch up simply by holding down the arrow to the right and also holding down page up. And it goes much faster. In fact, you might even catch up to the processing in the background. We'll find out here. Okay, as I'm trying to catch up, I see that we're now on run 100 and the net profit is at 37%. Oop. I don't know what I did. I probably overloaded my computer. I'm on a laptop here, by the way, so it's not the greatest. Now, pull that together. Just let the processing in the background catch up. Now, Mac equity drawdown has gone up to 24%, which is okay. Now, one thing important to realize here is we're using open prices model. Now, the open prices model, the way that works is each of those 1 minute candles has an open, high, low, and close. So at the end of that candle, in the start of the next candle, those four things are taken into account, and then the calculations are done by ForexGridMaster. Now, when you use every tick, the way every tick works is the number of ticks that the program creates randomly. And it's important to realize that it is random, because every time you run the exact same test over the exact same time period using open prices, you'll get the exact same results, which can be very useful, by the way. But if you use every tick, you're going to get different results every time, because the randomization is different every time. Although the randomization is based on the volume of each bar. So you're going to have more ticks happen in a bar with a higher volume. Ooh, okay. Our little mouse just told us that the test is over. So let's have a look. Okay, I'm in Zoom here, so let's go up to comments. And final results is 60%. Net profit over 145 runs. Max equity drawdown 24.46%, and that happened August 1st, right after midnight. Okay, that's about it. Now let's go back to the compounder. Oh, I closed it, didn't I? Okay, we'll open it again. Compounding. Go down to our calculator. More view. Okay, so we've got $16,030. So now we're calculating for rate. You got to click that first, and we've got $16,030. Input months. We started in January, so we've got January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So October 12th. So basically we've got 10.5 months. So let's put it in 10.5, not quite 10.5, but we'll say that. and the starting principal is $10,000, and click calculate. And so we have 4.596, let's say 4.6% average profit per month. But 4.6% average profit per month will compound to 71%. Again, look at the effective annual rate, 171%. But you have to take 100% out, which is the actual principal, 10,000. So you take 100% out, then you're left with 71%. So you've got a monthly average profit of 4.6%, and that'll compound to 71% per year. Now that's a very safe strategy, as you can see. And you know, the reality of it is, though, that's very high profit in the normal world. The best traders ever consistently make 30 to 40% per year over, say, a 10, 15, 20-year period. All Jesse Livermore, all these famous traders, that's about what they make. So if you're making 71% a year, you're outdoing all of those people. So this is what I like about ForexGridMaster. Okay, I hear my wife calling for supper, so I'm going to close it down.